Alright, so this quick video is sort of going to show some of my AI, I guess, tech that I've been working on. Now, the AI is not finished at all. The AI doesn't tag you, it doesn't move. I haven't incorporated all the animations, but I've got some of the fundamentals down for my AI, which I'm really happy with. So, effectively, what I've done is I've added a Ragdoll death animation where it starts off as a sort of preset mocap animation, but it fades into a ragdoll, which is pretty common in the industry today when it comes to games. So what I've effectively done is I have created a point that ignore my messy blueprinting. I'm going to organize this. It looks really bad. But effectively, we've got a couple checks here. If it's a one-shot kill or not, basically. So checking the AI's health. And then we go off into a sequence of events here. So this one is that death animation that starts off, and it doesn't get fully completed. By the time the next sequence triggers, it will effectively start the ragdoll. It is the perfect blend of preset animation to ragdoll effects. I think I absolutely nailed it. And I also did make it so the ragdoll or the dead AI actually disappears after 100 seconds. This is just for optimization reasons. You're playing a game, you know, if you're moving forward, hopefully a minute and a half is enough time for the player to move past that point. And even then, I don't think it really breaks immersion. It's more or less so you get your frames back. Even though this is a very optimized blueprint to the most part, besides it looking like a complete, utter mess of shambles, it is quite simple when it comes to what it's doing. So in this sequence here, this is sort of the main ragdoll sequence. So this is the ragdoll plus impulse. So we add a little impulse where it hits, so it sort of gives it that effect of the AI being shot. It looks really cool. And to do that, we set all this. So effectively, once the body's been hit, it goes through the process. This is the kill process, basically. So the ragdoll begins, simulates our physics, and it simulates from the bone where it's hit. So this gives it that sort of accurate representation of it being hit in a certain area based on where the projectile actually hits on our line trace from our weapons on our main character here. So effectively, we in bone name, we get our bones, we get our bone index. Our bone index from Sophia, ignore that name, I need to fix the name, it's actually just the UE4 mannequin. The bone name comes all the way from event point damage, so it knows its reference. Event point damage, that's the built-in Unreal check. Check, take damage, bone name, index, get bone name, apply simulation physics to said bone name. Oops, I just moved that there. And then it will add impulse at location, gets location, in-world location from bone index. And then we add an impulse based on that location as well. So distance from line trace, that's the amount of impulse we want to add. And we actually have a preset for projectile speed as well in our FPS character for our weapons, which I don't really need to talk about here because this is a video sort of covering my AI system. So then we add a delay, again 100 seconds, it will destroy that actor. Pretty simple, frees up optimization. At the top here, this is on any damage taken, it will actually drop the weapon. I'm playing around with this. This is probably actually more going to go back down into the on point damage, because right now it is set to basically any damage, even a shot to the finger will make the AI drop their weapon. I was just testing it. And it's kind of funny, there's some funny results that I've had to diagnose and fix. But effectively, 0.2 second delay, so he's holding onto the weapon a little bit after he ragdolls. And then we keep the world rule so it stays in the position of where the socket of the rifle is. So as you can see in here, I've got the rifle socketed to the right hand. This is just a model from Sketchpad. I'm not going to be using this in my final game. It's purely for demoing because I actually don't own this weapon asset. I'm going to be designing my own. Again, I'm also just using the UE4 mannequin for this testing, and I haven't done any of that sort of modeling stuff yet because that is way down the pipeline. Art is the least of my priorities right now. So again, we set simulate physics on the weapon as well, so it sort of gives it that natural look when the AI dies, it drops their weapon, it flies off in a direction a little bit, depending on the where he's hit. Again, it sort of has that natural flow to it of the enemy dropping the gun, basically. So then 2 more sequences fire. The first sequence up here is actually turning physics back off. This again brings us a little bit of performance back, and after 4 seconds, which I've kind of estimated as the rough time it takes for a weapon to hit the ground, we will then turn that boolean back off again for simulate physics, and then the second sequence here is just like the AI enemy. After 100 seconds, we're just going to destroy the weapon as well to free up space. So that is sort of the main fundamentals here. You know, there's a few more things like the kill sound in here. It's just a glass sound, just so I can test and diagnose. I also have an optional mat override, which is going to be for blood decal related stuff, which I still haven't done yet, but that is something to come. So, ignoring that, this is sort of the fundamentals of how my AI is going to work. Now, I'm actually going to start from my other level, so I kind of do want to show off my menu screen because I'm really happy with this. So I'm going to go standalone game because this is where most of your performance comes from. Playing in editor, you lose a lot of frames, so we're going to do standalone game. Again, I'm really happy with this sort of menu screen. It's an in progress, and I think it's pretty sweet. So I've got this sort of animations. It's sort of I've gone for a sort of cyberpunk steampunk theme, which I think came together phenomenally. So when you hover over the buttons here, it has a sort of like very old school animation, which I think looks fucking sick. And my favorite bit, listen for when you hit a button. So we're going to go to the range here. That is Moisen Nagant, a reload sound of the bolt action. And I think it just makes perfect sense. You're pulling back a bolt action, loading in around, and thus loading the level. I think that was genius, and I think it came out perfectly. Again, this is literally not going to be a final level. This level right here is purely for design's sake at this point. So, actually, is this the wrong AI? Actually, it should have transferred over. So this is a separate map. So again, I'm just using some kit bash stuff here. They have great models, so I've just been kit bashing a little bit here just to get a simple environment out to sort of set the scene, set the mood. I've got a few weapons here that I've also built. So again, this is the main rifle I'm holding in my hands right now. So if I hit this AI, see how he drops that weapon and has that ragdoll effect. It feels very natural. You can continuously shoot the body if you want to. And again, I'm probably going to add blood particles soon. But that's sort of, again, another art-related thing that I don't really need to worry about right now. That impulse really adds to it as well. So again, you can't shoot the weapon anymore. That is now a static object, as the physics have now been turned off after that 4 seconds. I'll actually quickly show you guys again. I think I loaded the wrong level. I might have done Los Angeles. Yes. Okay. So I'm actually just going to quickly grab this here and go to my start menu blueprint. This is a bit chaotic in here, but this is all the functions that happen when you boot up the game, basically. So open level by name, when you paste it in there, go in here, and then I'm going to boot that up in standalone again. That we're going to skip the menu screen here because we're loaded into LA, I think, right? That's fine. We've got our shaders loaded, so it's not a hassle. Alright, so we're just straight into it. This level I've just basically got more AI set up that we can shoot. I'm going to pick up the Bison because it's fun to use. But, again, I feel like this is a very natural sort of death animation, and I'm extremely happy with it. Sometimes that weapon does fly a little bit, actually. I think it's because the weapon is also getting the impulse applied to it. So I'm going to shoot the weapon here and try to shoot it mid-air. Let's see. Actually, no, because I made the collision ignore the weapon. I ignore that. I've added, like, some collision there, so it's actually floating on an invisible box. I had some issues with my vaulting on my player character. Might be able to... vaulting seems fine right now, but... There's some bugs with my vaulting that I need to fix. Like, yeah, right now when I vault, I can't ADS anymore unless I crouch. There's a bug I need to fix. Sometimes when I vault, it stops the firing sequence. Those are just some bugs that I need to hash out, but Again, I think my death animation for the AI is phenomenal. Again, ignore the fact of there not being any animations or movement or detection on the AI that is not developed yet. This was getting the actual hit detection and death animation set up, which I think, again, came out very phenomenally. Also, I don't have the health properly set up, so they're all just a one-shot kill right now. So if I shoot him in the leg, he'll die. But as you can see, shooting them in the leg, with my physics, it applies like the impulse to that bone. So it creates this very sort of realistic hit effect. Oh shit, he's been shot in the leg and he falls over. It's friggin' genius. I absolutely love it. Like, it's fairly simple too. Like, it took me maybe a few hours to figure out, just bashing my head against the wall, but again, I think I absolutely nailed that sort of natural death sound. Again, if you want to, you can shoot the body and make it go further. But yeah, I think that was really freaking cool to have that set up. The way the weapon drops just feels so natural. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. So that is sort of the basic death animation and ragdoll sequence for my AI. Also, this is the player movement. I actually haven't showed the rework player movement off in a while. So the sprinting animation, the longer you sprint, the more your screen is going to shake. Now, this is a balance for me between gameplay and immersion. So I personally hate screen shake. You know, I'm a long-time FPS player. I think it's a gimmick. But I also hate stamina. So a compromise was actually to add screen shake as your stamina bar. So, like, at the start, you're sprinting, you're barely going to have screen shake. But the longer you sprint, the more screen shake you're going to get. And they're saying, hey, let's stop sprinting and start again. It's going to reset your stam bar. So it's sort of like a meeting halfway between immersion and fluid gameplay, effectively. So that's sort of the sprint system here, in terms of screen shake and immersion. I think, especially when you're running and actually sprinting, I personally like the screen shake when you're sprinting. When you're moving or like walking, there's absolutely no screen shake. When you're ADSing, there's also absolutely no screen shake. There is sort of like a sway when you're moving. Again, this is a single player game, so we're going a little bit for immersion here. So the more still you are, you know, it's probably better to, you know, not be moving when you're shooting. But effectively, the way it works is wherever, see where my red dot is and how it's sort of staying in the center of the screen? You can line it up, and if I get it here, yes. So wherever your red dot is where the bullet's going to go. So effectively, even though my gun is swaying, my bullet is going to go where the red dot is. So it's sort of, again, that balance between immersion and fluid gameplay. If you're still looking in the center of your screen, you can hit a target while moving, but your weapon sways. So it's, again, that balance between accuracy and fluid gameplay and, you know, immersion. Weapon sway, but the bullet still goes to the center. I think that was just a neat little trick that I applied to my player character. That's sort of the main concepts for now. Next, I'm probably going to be taking a bit more of a break from the core gameplay elements and just figuring out a little bit more of my lore and gameplay loops, or not gameplay loops, level design. So I haven't really begun anything related to level design yet. Again, we're just using Kit Bash here. So once I get into that, I'm going to be starting off with some challenges and a tutorial and gun range, and that is going to be packaged into a demo product with just the test dummy AI that I've created. And then after that, I'm going to begin creating the actual game of Vender with its full storyline and everything. So again, that is basically everything in this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.